In this video, I have something for everyone in the roofing industry. Slap you and say, hey, stop it. I'm in Honduras visiting very busy office of virtual assistants. You can see like some 60 people behind me. I'm gonna be interviewing different departments and the owners of this business. And the reason I came here, I wanna show you what's happening in the roofing industry in 2026. These people work for roofing companies all over the country. They're the best at what they do, but these conversations will help you understand trends with the AI, the trends with the industry in general. Click that like and subscribe if you haven't yet, because we have tons of content coming your way. Enjoy the show. She looks busy. Hey, what's your name?
I'm Fabi Well.
What do you do for the company?
I'm head of commercial estimation.
That's boring. Thank you. Daniel, this is very impressive. I'm going to start with this. So Daniel is a founder of Work Ninjas. I've been here, 3 years ago?
Yes, two and a half.
It was, how many, 20, 30 people back then? Now it's 60?
A lot more. We've grown, a lot has changed. We're excited for what this year will bring. But every year is something different, and it's we've come a long way since your last time here.
Right, guys, I'm here at Work Ninjas office. And the way I look at these people is, it's actually a very cool experience. I'm thinking about I'm in the movie like Avatar or Train Your Dragon, right? So they're remote, they're Avatar, they're somewhere. And somewhere on the other side, there's a roofer or a company they represent, they talk, they're trying to help. So what I want to understand is how they see roofers. I'm going to ask them questions, what it is to feel like, managing chaos for the company that's a couple thousand miles away. So let's go around and ask them questions. So roofers, pay attention. This is what these people, your virtual assistants, think of you. Let's go. What are the biggest cash flow challenges contractors are facing today?
I would say many times they are always completing their projects and everything they do under due diligence and on time, but they are not collecting that money. For example, when they do insurance, many times if they're still going on supplement, or if they're going on with their sub process, they need to make sure that they finish everything and get that money back with all the depreciation recovered as well.
Would you say the payment terms are longer or shorter in 2026? And either one of you can answer.
Yes.
I was going to say definitely longer. Insurance company has gone a lot more stricter, you want to say, more, they're asking for more documentation. They try to complicate the whole process of releasing the funds. Now, on top of that, you have to deal with mortgage endorsements. And when you have a gap of miscommunication between your production team, your billing team, one misinformation that they might have in the job can delay the process, for your typical 45 days to 60 to 90 days.
What mistakes do you see most often contractors make with receivables?
I feel like many of the times they overestimate what they should be receiving and having already in their cash flow right now. I feel like one of the most critical mistakes is not trying to get the money collected as soon as you have completed the work. And as you were mentioning earlier, I feel like one of the most important things is since insurances are many times delaying the time that the money gets released, I feel like having all those funds as soon as possible collected. What we do with some of our clients is we try to get on that certificate of completion. We always try to get the photos, the proof of the paid deductible. We try to get a very standard protocol in this case to make sure that insurance they don't double ask on any of the required things they might ask.
Hey man, I have a question. What do you do here? Are you on the phone? Okay. I'm so sorry for ruining your day. In marketing, we have speed to lead, but I would also say, and you want to ask you if you agree with me, that in accounting, the most important is speed to invoice. If you don't invoice right away, if you don't collect right away, every day goes by, it's harder and harder. And if you pass 30 days, people think they don't owe you money anymore. Do you experience it in your business?
Definitely. And speed to invoice is crucial. But more, just sending the invoice right away, it's not enough. You have to
follow up.
you have to follow up right away. You have to be in line with the production team and the sales rep because maybe a trade hasn't been finished, and maybe the owner doesn't want to pay the full amount of the invoice because the gutters or something is wasn't completed in full.
Average right now for profit and loss is 30%, 40% gross profit.
Usually it comes up to 30-35% depending on the goal of this contractor. But usually we try to aim on the 30% because it's well really grounded level. We're not going to bleed out anyone out there. We just want to help out.
Can you give me an example where you've seen the contractor lost money per project and you report it to them and you have that conversation? Does it happen?
It does happen. It does happen.
But give me an example. Why would contractor lose money on the job? What happened?
Contractors might lose money in a job because something was not taken in consideration, or because something was ordered misplaced. Let's say we wanted or we estimated a type of shingle, and they ordered something that was not what they were estimating. So there, the profit is different because you are taking in consideration, let's say, a $30 bundle, and they order a $43 bundle. So it's $13 extra. So there's where you have an issue because it's a lot of money that you're not taking in consideration.
So I'm in charge of checking the invoices, residential, commercial. I'm in charge of checking item by item that everything is correctly charged and that the amount is like the one that we requested on the PO.
We're talking about QXO, ABC, SRS.
SRS, yes.
And they have to check their price list.
Yes.
Is it a quote or is it a price list?
The quote is the price list. The price list that the supplier provides us previously before we start the project.
Okay, how often it's off?
Every day.
Every day?
Every day. Every single invoice we check, it has a different amount.
So I just heard 10 minutes ago that in the month of February, you found $26,000 worth of mistakes just for one company.
Yes, it was for SRS.
Comment below, in your opinion, if you dealt with the ABC, QXO, SRS, who is the best at matching the price? Because the problem is real. Most roofers, they don't check their invoice. How much money do you think they leave on the table?
Thousands and thousands, and every week, because I check and every invoice has a price difference. Almost every item is like overrated.
Can you name few automations that you would say have the highest ROIs for your client?
That's gonna be basically about the customer experience.
Okay.
Like they're gonna be I usually divide them from internal automation that is usually for the roofing company itself, and then the external automations, because it usually happens that the homeowner perspective doesn't get too much information from what's going on. So like notifying about like what's going on with the production side, about like the sales part, like everything, it's I think what's of the biggest impact in the ROI.
What percentage would you say contractors use of their CRM capacity? Do they use like 10% of their CRM what they can do? Because I see a lot of contractors sign up and they're using very limited functions. So when you build out and you show them what it can do, like what would you say they're using before they come to you?
Well, like I cannot give you like a specific number because of the different
Just roughly.
clients. I can be like 60-70 because of like all the features that
Oh,
the
you're
CRM
way
provide.
too generous. You're way too
I'm
generous.
trying.
I've met too many contractors who just use their calendar. And but what automations you would highly recommend for everyone? Is it something about leads, automatic responses, follow-ups? Like
We usually use anything that's customer facing, anything that helps with customer experience, like she said in the previous question, like anything that helps us reach the lead quickly. Because like
speed to lead?
speed to lead, yes. Because like Ricky Bobby said, if you're not first, you're last.
Yeah.
You know,
What about notifications about when job is getting scheduled? When are we doing the project and stuff like that?
well, yeah, calendar can work for that, right? But CRMs help you organize better and keep track of what needs to get done. You know, like an SOP essentially written down as a system. It helps you like keep track of what is done, communicate what needs to get done, and everybody it's in the loop. Like in terms of the project. like where this project stands.
Tell me what do you do? Is it like one department or multiple departments?
It's one single department divided in different teams.
Okay, so what are you, virtual assistants? What does this team does?
Well, I am David. I am the senior account manager for Team One.
Okay,
So this island is my whole team.
okay.
Each one of them is in charge of a different account. Some of them are in charge with the same account. It all depends on the needs of the client. So in this case, I am helping here with Jimena. We are doing some things with Eagle View. We're checking on some measurements that we ordered. This is for one of our clients.
So each one of you works for one roofer, one company. Where would you say most fail with their automations or implementing CRMs? What's the hardest push for you? Like, what are you begging them to do?
Factually could be about actually using the SOP. Like, we have the automations all set up, the workflow is all set up, but actually for the roofing company has the trust of actually using their CRM.
Stop doing it old ways.
Yes.
How do you convince them? Like, okay, so I'm your client. I came to you and was like, hey, let's help me be more efficient, more productive. And you did everything you're supposed to do. We create new SOP, and then I go to my old ways and use my Google spreadsheet. Next time I talk to you, what are you gonna tell me?
It's basically about doing the CRM simple and customizable
The right answer is
based.
slap you in the face, Nick. I'll slap you and say, hey, stop it. Every single day, someone in the roofing Facebook groups commenting like, hey, I hate my CRM. Can you recommend other? I want to switch. Like every day, I see this migration from this to this because Jobnimus doesn't work for this guy. IQ does not work for that. And I always ask him, what it cannot do? Like,
I think it's because they don't know like the whole features of it. Like, there's in every CRM there's a way about like actually understanding the features and how they actually works.
who sent you that? Like, it's a
This is a
hand-reading quote.
Yeah.
What's that about?
This is an invoice from
This is
roofing
invoice?
crew. Yeah, from a roofing crew. So I'm just trying to feed in the accounts
So
payable.
what do you do? So, so you're taking hand-reading crew invoice and you're putting.
In the accounts payable for the account for the financials of the job, so we can have an accurate P&L.
Guys, is it common? Do you see a lot of handwriting notes from your contractors?
All the time.
And you're putting it in?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, it's weird when you get a digital copy from a crew.
Really?
Yeah, that's not common.
So usually it's all
Yeah,
handwritten?
usually it's handwritten.
And you digitize it?
Yeah.
Name top 3 CRMs you would recommend.
I don't think I can though. Like,
I mean, where do you spend most of your time? Like,
well, I have been I'll be 100% honest here. Like, I've been working more with Job Nimbus mostly.
Okay.
And then with the second one would be Acculings. That would be like the second one.
Keep in mind that it's also about developing an SOP, right? Like all CRMs can really accommodate your procedures, like in all your operations. It's about understanding how they can be worked on so they can basically personalize to your experience what you need to be done.
give advice to the contractor who does not have a CRM, writes everything on folders, sell him CRM. Why would contractor actually sign up with a CRM?
Well, it's about keeping track, right? Like, first of all, using paper nowadays is not good at all. Like, that's gonna get lost somewhere. But if it's in the cloud, you can reach it anywhere in the world. You can be on holidays and just reach out your phone, and that's your project and how it's going. You can track everything, right?
Yep.
That's number one. Number two is just keeping accountability, knowing where things, how things supposed to get done, knowing how they got done, and keeping track of, well, basically how the project is going.
I think this is my favorite segment. We're talking about lead management. Do you know what's industry average acquisition cost to get a roof bought? Not a lead cost, not appointment cost, actually acquisition cost, like roughly. If you have to guess.
Well, ballpark and across different markets, I'd say it range around 900 all the way to $1,500 per acquisition, and it gets increasingly more expensive in more competitive markets.
100% agree, guys. I read all of my comments. Comment below if you know your customer acquisition cost. A lot of roofers know only one number, and it's cost per lead. They don't know their closing rate. They always complain about Angie's List, Home Advisor, Google. but they're not tracking their acquisition cost. How much more expensive is it getting? Is it because of the Google? And why is that? Is it because more roofers competing for it, or it just?
I think it's getting more expensive because it's just more competitive out there, and we're all just bidding for the same amount of homeowners. So it is getting more expensive, and it depends on the platform you're advertising on. But yes, we're seeing definitely an increase in lead price.
Would you say we have too many roofers online?
Maybe, maybe. I hope they're all good though.
Yeah. How many times your roofer does not answer when you call him?
He hasn't answered me yet. And I have been working with him 1 year.
1 year, and he never answers.
No.
How do you communicate?
He answered my message sometimes.
So he's a texter.
Yeah.
Emails and text.
Yeah.
But no phone calls.
No phone call. And no meetings.
So is it common for roofers not wanna talk like on the phone?
Of course, yeah. A lot of things have to do with their time. They're usually driving a lot. If they are more into door knocking and just canvas in different areas, they will not be that open to answering the phone calls or the recurrent phone calls with homeowners. So usually it's about getting to have a time in which, what's your more open time to answer phone calls. Usually for me, it's during lunchtime. So they're going to give me that hour or so to get those phone calls and get things really taken care of. It's like, hey, Luis, fast, what do you need? 5 minutes? Okay, that's it. And that's part of what we do. It's been efficient, making sure things are going to be taken in a short period of time and actually maximizing the amount of time we have for them.
So are leads getting more expensive and harder to close in 2026?
Well, I think homeowners are expecting more of roofing companies. So the expectations are definitely higher. We now have more tools to help us close those leads. So yes and no. It's getting harder, but it's easier at the same time because of the technology that we have right now.
Let's talk about response rate. How important is the response rate? How do you track? How do you improve? How you guys improve response rate in your companies and for your clients?
It's very important to communicate with the leads as soon as possible. And to do so, we're combining a human team with technology so that we're able to get to the lead first. Speed to lead is very important, it's crucial, and that's how we are able to lock in on more appointments and new customers.
I think nowadays it's really important to have as Kristen said, a mix of both technology, AI, and the human touch that allows us to cover all of the touch points at the same time. And I'd say speed to lead is essential, but following up is even more important. And I think that's where most contractors fall off the wagon. So they might get these leads, they might get to them as quick as possible, but maybe they'll do one call, two calls, and that's it. They'll call it a night. And, maybe that person's, at the moment, they're working or life happens or whatever. So I'd say follow up, yes, speed to lead is essential, but following up is even more important.
So you actually on the phone, so when they dial, you answer as the roofing company?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. How many calls you take a day?
Roughly, you would say, depending on the clients, since they're inbound, we also receive outbound calls. So roughly, you can say an estimate of 20-25 calls.
Do you think contractor can win if he doesn't have receptionist? If he's answering his phone calls and still doing the jobs, can he win in 2026? Or what's his limit? How big he can build his business?
I think it's just not scalable. If you're swarmed with leads, and that's a good problem to have, right? If you're swarmed with new business and you're doing everything yourself, so you're calling the customers and you're getting these calls and you're setting up appointments and getting estimates out, the margin of error is going to be even bigger as time goes by. So I think it's just not scalable, and if you're looking to grow, you have to have someone that's just doing that work for you.
What are homeowners expecting today that they didn't expect 3-5 years ago?
Homeowners nowadays, they like to feel pampered. They want to have all the information at their hands. It's like you.
Do they do more research?
Yes, of course. You know, with the internet nowadays, they got all the information. You know, the AI nowadays, ChatGPT, they can find everything now. And it's like for example, using an Amazon, they have all the time frames. You know, when if they buy something, when are they going to get it delivered? So it's similar to the roofing industry. They want the communication as fast as they can and with the time frames well proposed. You know,
Like you work with a contractor, you probably deal with the homeowners' complaints too. What are the major complaints?
What we hear is communication issues, poor communication. They haven't answered my phone. Sales reps, not attending messages or calls right away. I think that is the core. That just lack of communication between the different departments in the company and setting the right expectations with the customer.
How often do you guys talk to actual homeowners, so on behalf of the contractor?
All the time. We do it, very common. And because we're so involved after the sale, the sales rep, they send the job for office approval, and the office takes care of that from the for the office approval process to the execution. And there's where we are in constant communication with the customer. And that's usually the most challenging step, because sometimes selling a roof isn't that hard.
Out of 100 jobs, how many referrals or reviews will I get?
if you have bad communication, you're probably going to get zero. Communication is key in this industry, you know. If you have good communication, that's going to lead to referrals. It's going to lead to 5-star reviews. And if you got good reviews, you got more clients.
Give me a couple common complaints that you hear from roofers about what you do, their business, because you solve their problems, right? But what kind of complaints you hear from them?
Well, it all depends. Sometimes it is like, why is this lead not taken properly? And it's a mistake that happens with the whole line of production. Somebody took the lead and it was not qualified properly. So I went over and checked it. And when I was checking it, I received a text message that it was not qualified properly. And I was like, okay, I'm checking it right now. It wasn't my fault, but I need to solve that problem for him.
How do you deal with the complaints, and how do you turn it into something positive?
Yeah, in this industry, nobody's perfect, so there's always going to be some hiccups. And the key is to tackle that problem as soon as possible, you know, and explain to customers, you know, if there are some warranty issues, and do take care of it as soon as possible so that the problem becomes solved.
Let's talk about production. I actually recently have one of my consultant students, and they asked me to talk to their production manager, and she asked me this question, like, what KPIs should I track? So what KPIs you track in production departments?
Okay, so my background is in finance. So one of the things that I primarily focus on is cost procurement. That's something that I like to keep track of.
Per job?
Per job, yes. Running profit and loss analysis.
How fast you provide those reports?
Well, the pre-profit and loss, immediately as we get the estimate approved, and we are working on, placing the material ordering, working on work orders, we at least have, a baseline on costs. And then the realized P&L, as soon as we wrap up this job, we had the job paid in full, making sure that the numbers were accurate. And if not, we need to make adjustments for the next jobs, right?
Oh, she's on the phone. She's probably faking it, so we don't talk to her. How about you? What do you do?
I do estimates for.
Are you cold?
Yeah, I'm really cold.
You're always
now.
cold?
Yes, I'm always
You know,
cold.
you live in Honduras. It's not cold even outside. But what do you do?
Well, basically, we do estimates for an account, and for the other one, we do a little bit of production.
Do you see, you probably, out of all people, you probably see right away when contractor get price increase and maybe didn't even notice it, because everybody sees the letters, but nobody's checking the actual invoices when it's happening. How often do you see it, and maybe even tell your contractor that, hey, did you see the price increase?
Well, we actually do like every single day because we, as assistants, as project managers, we have to have a knowledge of what the actual price is, because usually ABC, SRS, and all of these big suppliers, we do have like an agreement with them for a for established price. But sometimes we get a price increase. So let's say a job that we were planning on it to be like 10K, it is up to 13K. So you tell your customer, hey, did you notice that it's a lot expensier than it was a week ago? What's going on? So there comes the conversation where you need to go to your sales rep at each of the suppliers and get to know what's going on. Maybe they give you an explanation, maybe they get it back to the original price, but it's all about the conversation you need to have with them.
Guys, comment below if you ever had dispute with your supplier about materials that they send. I read all of my comments, and if you have the dispute, tell me the amount you disputed and the amount you were able to win, because I don't know how you guys do it without someone like these guys or someone in your office checking on it on a regular basis.
We have like a $50,000 job, something like that. We did a supplement for that because in this team, we take care of production and supplement for this roofer.
Okay.
And the initial scope of work was like $50,000, something like that, and it was a complete siding replacement. So when we started working with that specific client, he was like, "No, I want to do this modification. I want to do board and batten," and start adding some things. But then when we actually did the job, the client didn't want to pay us the full
Sure.
siding replacement. So we
What was the reason why he didn't want to pay?
it was like he didn't want to pay. He saw like, damn, this is like a $70,000 check. No,
Sure.
I don't want to give it to you. So my client was like, Leo, I want to go to that home and tear off that siding completely. So that's the best story we have.
Supplements probably the most popular for roofers department. Would you say most people sign up with the Work Ninjas because they need supplements or something else?
It's a combination of a whole scope of things. Supplements, one of the major things that we actually help the customers out. Each contractor, they need help in billing, collections. That's what actually
Yeah.
Luis helped them out with. And us in the supplement department, whenever they don't know how to handle claims properly, getting the proper documentation, presenting that to insurance adjuster, handling the communication with the insurance company, that's where our services kicks in, and we try to help them out with that.
So you've been with the company for 5 years doing supplements. Is it easier or harder to do supplements? Do you see lesser approvals? Do you see the numbers declining or percentage declining?
Actually, I wouldn't say fewer supplements are being improved. I would say the main pushback between the insurance company and how you are supplementing, it's how you present that information to the company, to insurance adjuster. Having that direct communication with the insurance adjuster, being transparent with your homeowner, being transparent with your client, and presenting the proper documentation, knowing local building codes, knowing manufacturer instructions, knowing the material, how you install that, will definitely take you a long way, and that's how you get approval. Being precise in the information that you present to insurance adjuster.
How long does it take to settle a supplement claim?
Oh.
I've heard number of 21 days. Is it about accurate? Do you have a date?
That's a very good question, and that all depends on the type of cases and scenarios. There are different type of supplements. A
Do you
denial
know
can
the
take,
average?
it could be between 27 the most to 30 days, and usually if you're having a missing line items, which is a more straightforward supplement in which you actually send the documentation, building codes and specifications for the manufacturer, that usually takes a little bit less time, between 12 and 15 days, would you say?
All depends at what point do you present that information to insurance adjuster. And if you are very clear of what information you are presenting, that's will definitely help you out to expedite the whole process without getting that pushback that we were talking about before. If you presented the proper documentation, you are very clear with your intention for the supplement, that will definitely get a faster resolution, faster response from the insurance adjuster.
Do you guys talk about roofers, like about your accounts with other people when you work here? You're so close to each other. Do you like gossip about what's happening in the roofing companies?
We do. We try to talk the best way, of course, depending on on the scope of work that we do for each roofer, we try to engage each other with different areas, what we do, how we do it, just so we can all learn and be on the same page. Well, yeah, we do. We gossip a bit about our roofers, yes.
Let's finish with your advice to the contractors who don't supplement insurance company for whatever reason.
Okay. My advice would be actually to, as part of your due diligences at the end, is just making sure that each of the different claims has been covered correctly. That's actually what we need to do and pursue for basically homeowners to make sure they get the right system. And just think about you putting a full system and not being paid completely. You're not being paid fairly, neither the homeowner. If you're putting this as an upgrade and charging the homeowner, or if you're actually taking the loss in these cases, that's the most of the times people's going to offer free upgrades like put in a starter, put in a drip edge, put in synthetic underlayment, and maybe up to code they should be added. They're going to be leaving a lot of money on the table. So number one, as we've seen with many companies we have helped, they usually, if they're between the 10 and 15 jobs on a monthly basis, if they're doing a lot of insurance and storm restoration, we're talking about extra $40,000-$50,000 on a monthly basis. Just think about, in a yearly basis, that's $600,000. That's coming such as profit, everything.
What about companies who don't understand insurance claims, like retail contractor? What advice for them? And can they start with you? Like, I have contractors asking me all the time, Dimitri, I don't know how to start the claim. What advice would you give them?
That's happens a lot. We have had those customers that come. Actually, they are inside a storm restoration market, but they don't care about supplementing side or putting claims because they actually want to move the money faster. Sometimes it has to do with cash flow. The depreciation takes sometimes a little bit longer. But what actually we bring to the table is this specialty inside the storm restoration. We actually can offer you a full system in which we can advise you missing line items, how to put the claim. We actually can offer you the backup to make sure that the supplements are coming on time, the estimate is coming on time, the pre-production, making sure the margins are being hit every time, and making sure that the supplement, it's just the icing on top of a cake. So that actually helps a lot. Our specialty. So what we offer is that making sure that, hey, give us this portion of your time. We're going to be taking care of this. We're going to advise you on the process. We're going to provide you with a checklist and all the information necessary to follow the process. And once you hit that and actually start building the team for the storm restoration, you're going to see the huge increase on the margins and the revenue you're going to be doing on a yearly basis.
100%. And I'll back that advice too. If you are a roofer in a storm market and you've never filed a claim, you don't know what you're doing, partner up with someone like Work Ninjas, someone who knows what they're doing, will help you speed up the process, your learning curve, and make more money on insurance claims. Thank you for watching another video all the way to the end. Work Ninjas were absolutely amazing, and I want to finish with my personal take on this company tour. I always have them, and usually I share them privately on social media, kind of behind the scenes, but this one I wanted to do it right here at the end of the video because this trip to Honduras was phenomenal. It's a second time I'm in the country. I've been at Work Ninja's office before, and there are a few things I always look at every company I visit. Culture, turnover, and what employees say about a company. You can fake it all you want on social media, but when you come back to the business 2-3 years later and you see the same people with more experience, more happiness on their faces, you cannot fake it. You can tell that this company is different. I have been back at a few other businesses, and when you come back, it feels like different team, different company, different culture. Work Ninjas did not change over the years. They're one of the best in the industry, and I want to give you 3 reasons why roofers or contractors should consider hiring them, and who are they perfect partner for. Number 1, small player operator. If you don't have office, they have office, and they will make your employee accountable. I know a lot of roofers have this skepticism, like it's not gonna work. How do I know that they work? And I promise you this, those Work Ninjas, they're all working. They're all working because it's a company culture to be productive for their clients. Number 2, if you're in the insurance game and you do a lot of insurance claims, maybe you don't have Xactimate experts on your team, you can outsource that. Give 20-30 files to your Work Ninja in Honduras in that office, and they will follow up with adjusters. They'll help you with the claim, settle all of that stuff. And the reason number 3 is accounting.
If you are not reviewing your bills from your suppliers, you're leaving money on the table. Any one of these will pay for that receptionist. And if you do all three, you're going to be making money. So it literally will pay for that position or two, and you will have extra profit in your pocket as well. Work Ninjas, thank you so much for awesome company tour. Thank you for showing me Honduras one more time, taking me to the ocean. The boat trip was absolutely amazing. I know I will be back again. Guys, comment below what you think. Check that subscribe button if you are not subscribed yet to the channel and just watching it. It means the world to us. Please do, and I'll see you guys in the next video.